Welcome to episode 70 of the Strength System podcast. It's pretty cool. It's our 7th anniversary and this is episode 70. I think this is pretty cool. So we are doing this podcast so we understand our role in the industry better. We are celebrating 7 years of Strength System and I honestly think this is the best set of team we've ever had in the 7 years and I just want to remember this for the rest of my life. That is the real reason why we're doing this. Before we start, we're going to go around the table. We're going to introduce ourselves and we're going to do what we think is our podcast intro song. நம்ம எல்லாரும் அதை பாட போகிறோம். யார் கரெக்டாக பாடுறாங்களோ அவங்களுக்கு தான் இந்த லாஸ்ட் சமோசா. அதெல்லாம் முடியாது. சரியா? So as the first employee of this on this group, you can start. You have to give us your name and then you have to sing our podcast. This is to prove that you've listened to the Strength System podcast.
Now I have to try to remember that tune. இது எல்லாரும் பாடுறத பத்தி கேட்டா ஏதாவது ஒரு டியூன் பாடிக்கலாம் பரவாயில்லன்னு தான் தோணும். Okay, so I'm Nivedhan. I've been a coach at Strength System since 2017 and I think our podcast tune goes something like, I don't know how to sing it.
I just sang it perfectly and then all of you said it's not.
I clearly remember it but I just can't sing it.
You can't play it. You have to sing it.
I think it goes dun 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 something like that.
What?
Yeah. I got that. I remember it clearly but I don't know if I'm singing it right.
திருப்பி ஒரே ஒரு வாட்டி பாடு நம்ம ரெக்கார்ட் பண்ணிடலாம் அப்படியே.
Dun 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 dun. And then I don't remember after that.
Whose podcast is that?
That is our podcast. I'll play it. No.
Next to
I'll be the
our
closest to accurate.
Chirag.
let's go to our second in order of joining date. Chirag.
Hi, I'm Chirag. I think I joined in 2017 as a member of the gym first and then I was brought into this by Prashanti. I mean, she had come with an offer.
By offering various beverages at different points to various people.
Yeah, she gave us. I was offered orange juice.
You were 18.
But yeah, I've been here since 2017. And yeah, that's pretty much me. What was the second question?
Our podcast intro song. You have to know it best. You edit all of our podcasts.
Come on.
Distraction. I think it goes something like actually I don't know.
Oh my god.
I don't know. I've heard it so many times I
You
forgot.
have to try.
You have to try.
It's okay, you guys can keep the samosa I think.
Be a sport, Chirag.
நானா எடுத்து கொடுத்துமா?
No.
அது விக்ரம் படத்தோட
Yeah. That is
I think
definitely
I'm gonna-
central on the theme.
That's our
I'm gonna
podcast
pass
song.
this one. Yeah.
We're going to pass. Okay, then we can go to our next employee on the roster. This is Praveen.
எப்படி செட்டிலாக பேசவா இல்லை
Praveen வந்து he's
பேசுங்க
an
அது போதும்.
actor in his non-strength system time. என்கிட்ட மைக் இருக்கு.
Hi, I'm Praveen. I started Strength System on 2017.
You started strength system.
Yeah, I mean, I was joining
That's
Strength
nice.
System 2017 after Chirag, October, yeah. I'm handling all the operations.
சரி பாடுங்க.
அதான் யோசிச்சுட்டு இருக்கேன்.
நம்ம பாட்காஸ்ட் இருக்குன்னு தெரியுமா உங்களுக்கு?
யா
கேட்டிருக்கீங்களா? ஏதாவது ஃபேவரட் எபிசோட் சொல்லுங்க.
ஃபேவரட் எபிசோட் வந்து நீங்கள் ஒன்று பேசுனீங்கல்ல
எது?
லாஸ்ட் வீக் ஒன்று அந்த லாஸ்ட் வீக் ஒன்று பேசுனீங்க.
லாஸ்ட் வீக்கா?
ஐ மீன் லாஸ்ட் டைம் பேசுனது லாஸ்ட் டைம்
என்ன பேசணும்?
இந்த லிஃப்டிங் உமன்ஸ் லிஃப்டிங் பற்றிட்டு பேசுனீங்கல்ல.
நோ.
Last year or
லாஸ்ட் இயர்
சரி பாடுங்க.
அப்படியே வந்து ஃபேட் அவுட் ஆகி வெல்கம் டு அப்படின்னு ஸ்ட்ரென்த் சிஸ்டம் ஆரம்பிச்சிருவீங்க. கரெக்டா?
Okay, this is the closest we've gotten so far.
பாதி சமோசா கிடைச்சிரும். பாதி
Okay,
சமோசா
let's give it to So Muthu, so I think if you've trained at Strength System, you probably have never heard this boy's voice, but then Today will be proof of how he's actually the biggest rowdy of the team. Let's go.
Hi, I'm Muthu. I joined Strength System in 2020.
Are you sure?
Sure. So our podcast song goes similar to what Nivedan has already sung. So I'll try to imitate it, but it will not be like as perfect. And then it will fade out, and the host will start as like. நீங்க வந்து விக்ரம் படம் கோஸ்டோட தீம் போடுறீங்க.
கோஸ்ட் பாடுறா.
சம்திங் இந்த வே பாடி.
Okay.
கொடுங்க எனக்கு. எல்லாரும்
உங்களை வச்சு பாட்காஸ்டே பண்ணோம்ல. பேசுங்க.
இன்ட்ரோ ஆமா எனக்கு இல்ல எனக்கு இன்ட்ரோ கண்டிப்பா வேணும்.
This is Cheryl. He's our newest member. Newest coach.
So hi, I'm
You
Cheryl.
first can start by telling us how to pronounce your name because I think
Cheryl.
we all say your name wrong.
இல்ல எனக்கு தானே. Cheryl. 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 CHERY. Cheryl. So hi, I'm Cheryl. I joined Strength System 5 months back. அவ்வளோ நாள் ஆயிடுச்சா?
Jan 2022.
2020 இல்லைங்க 2020.
2 தான் சொன்னேன். Jan 2022.
ஸோ ஸ்ட்ரென்த் சிஸ்டம் பாட்காஸ்ட் வந்துட்டு நான் ஒரு 4 எபிசோடு தான் கேட்டிருக்கேன். அதில் ஸ்டார்டிங் எடுத்தோடனே ஸ்கிப் பண்ணிவிடுவோம். அந்த மியூசிக் வந்தோடனே சார் இதை வேற எவன் அப்படின்னு அங்கே போயிடுவோம். அதனால நான் கேட்டதில்லை. ஐ மீன் அந்த அந்த ஸ்டார்டிங் கேட்கவே மாட்டேன். எப்போவுமே கேட்க மாட்டேன். எந்த பாட்காஸ்ட்லையுமே கேட்க மாட்டேன். க்யூட்டாக ஃபார்வர்ட் பண்ணுறோம் நான்.
So I win this round.
அட்லீஸ்ட் எனக்காச்சும் ஒரு ஓட் வந்தது.
இல்ல ஃபோன் எடுங்க போடலாம்.
நம்ம வந்து எடிட்ல வந்து நம்ம எனக்கு நான் பாடுனதுக்கு மேட்ச் பண்ண மாதிரி
இல்ல
We are going to play the tune and we are going to see
take
who
the vote.
voted closest.
Take the vote. Cameraman also will give vote. சரியா?
Correct.
One audience இருக்காரு. அவர் கொடுப்பாரு vote.
audience and cameraman can get vote. But while
நீங்க பாடுங்க. இருங்க.
Hi, welcome to Strength System.
இருங்க let Nivedan sing. Wait.
Hi guys, welcome to episode 2.
இல்ல Nivedan தான் க்ளோஸ். அந்த வேஸ்ட்
மியூசிக் அது. லைட்டா
இல்ல ஒரு நிமிஷம் இருங்க. நீங்களாச்சும் ஒத்துக்கலாம். அவர் அத காப்பியஸ்ட் பாட்டு அதிக this is the closest I'm going to get.
ஸ்டார்டிங்ல கரெக்ட்டா தான் சொன்னேன்.
சரி ஓட்டு சொல்லுங்க.
I win.
என்ன யாரு நிவேதன் நீங்க நிவேதன் சொல்றீங்க நீங்க கேக்கலையா
சரி
நிவேதன்
சரி ஓகே நம்ம வந்து கொஞ்சம் மூவ் ஆன் பண்ணலாம். நிவேதன் ஓகே I will give this round to Nivedan.
நிவேதன்
Yeah, he probably needs the calories the most.
That is true.
Seri, so the format of this is we're going to do what we always do, which is not work and play Coup. Okay, so I think our team has a slight problem. We are slightly addicted to this game. So while the rest of us start talking, Praveen's going to start dealing the cards, and then you guys will see how brutal my team actually is and what I have to deal with on a daily basis. Okay, so while Praveen does that, I have a question for Chirag and Nivedan. The last time we did a podcast like this, I think it was in 2019, and you guys were still employees. You guys weren't business owners. I think we did that for the Strength System 5th anniversary or something like that. It was you, me, Varun, Chirag, the 4 of us did it, and a lot has happened since then. You guys came on as business owners 2019 August, September, and within a few months of you guys being business owners, COVID hit, right? And I think you guys have had slightly more challenges than the average new business owners would have faced, right? So what is the biggest challenge that you guys didn't expect to face as business owners that you did face? And what is also the most exciting thing about being a business owner and having the kind of autonomy and freedom that you have on how to run a business, right? We make a lot of decisions based on what we like, which is a really cool place to be in, I think. Who wants to go first?
So, I think having to shut down operations completely for 6 months was not the kind of challenge I was looking for when I came on as a partner in the business.
Question. No COVID-related challenges, because that was a challenge for every business owner. But yeah.
But I thought the question was about like small.
Yeah, like, but COVID is a common challenge that all business owners face, right? So what was
like you'd ask the first few months we faced COVID and then there are a lot of challenges. So in the first few months, if you're talking about COVID, then it has to be that. If you're talking about before COVID, that'd be just like. So I think we came on board on September 1. So about the first 6 months were before COVID. So are you referring to challenges that we faced before COVID?
I mean to say any challenges that you guys have faced as business owners that are not to do with COVID.
But it's hard to separate the two because I mean the business model that we had prior to COVID was drastically different. The model that we have now has changed. In fact, I don't think we had imagined a model like this. COVID has, of course, changed a lot of things. But I think one of the challenges that actually let Nivedan finish, and then I'll take it.
Thank you. So I have an answer for that. I guess for me personally, I think the only gym I've worked at was Strength System, and the only model of business that I had known was Strength System when I came on as like a business owner. And it was and still is very hard for me to like step out of how Strength System was before I became a partner. And try to like kind of direct it in a way that I wanted to go towards, right? Like, so I still don't think I have a clear vision of that. There's a lot of work to be done there. But for me, I think the biggest challenge was and still is that it's stepping away from Strength System like this partnership change, and then like deciding what parts of it I want to change. I think that is something I'm still figuring out. And your second question?
What is the most exciting thing about being a business owner?
Oh, that's a very easy question to answer, I think. So, one is how peacefully I can go to sleep at night, knowing I did everything according to my values and I didn't have to compromise on anything. At no point will I ever feel like a sellout about anything. I don't think many people can say that. Not many people have the luxury of being able to say that. It's not just on them, it's on the circumstances. And I think the exciting thing I'm looking forward to going forward would be figuring out what I want Strength System to do or be, and then taking it in that direction, I guess.
Good answer.
I think one of the challenges that didn't anticipate would be definitely like considering the amount of back-end work that had to be changed in view of changing circumstances. So whether it's COVID or otherwise. So when I say like back-end, what I mean is whatever prior to coming on board as a partner is essentially involved in a coaching role, and it is primarily learning about the fitness industry and not just focus on that, right? But after becoming partner, a lot of back-end work to deal with. So managing the relationship with the landlord, ensuring our systems are in check, ensuring all of the accounts and memberships and all are running fine, right? So we've had some challenges with that, and COVID also introduced new challenges. But that's at the same time, it's also the exciting part about the business in one sense, because sometimes if it's too easy and there's no challenge, there's no incentive for you to innovate and to try and find newer solutions, right? And having said that, I think some of the other things also that are exciting is you can think about what you really value and what you value personally, what you value professionally, and what you value in terms of for the business, right? And you can try and discuss that with the rest of the team, and having the opportunity to do that, I think, was exciting. You could really influence the way the business was moving, and so we do have certain beliefs in the fitness industry, and it's kind of hard to know what you believe in and not be able to implement that. So having the opportunity to do that, I think, has been tremendously exciting.
Okay, lovely answer. I'm gonna go to Cheryl next, because I think when you joined you randomly called me one morning and said, can I work at Strength System, right? Like we never discussed that before, and that's because you were having like a really shitty day at work or something. You were very frustrated with your job. So and you've never coached in person. You've been in the fitness industry for a while, but you've never coached in person, but you decided you want to coach in person. And you worked in a large corporate company before this, and now you've come to like a very small startup, a very small team. And here, honestly, we have no hierarchy, right? Like, we get fired on a daily basis by you guys. So, it's a very, very consciously no hierarchy business model that we have, and you guys are very involved in the business decisions as much as we are. So, how has the transition been, and what do you like about working in a smaller environment like this?
ஸோ அந்த லார்ஜர் கார்ப்பரேட் கம்பெனிஸில் வந்துட்டு லைக் ஆர் வாய்ஸ் ஒன்ட் பி ஹர்ட். லைக் என்ன ஒரு ஒப்பீனியன் இருந்தாலும் அது வெளியவே வராது. அது நம்ம மைண்ட்குள்ளேயே ப்ராசஸ் பண்ணிட்டு நம்மளே லைக் அது அப்படியே அங்கேயே டிசிபேட் ஆகிடும். வாயில் கூட வெளியே வராது. ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் கிட்ட கூட மோஸ்ட்டாக டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ண மாட்டோம். ஸோ இங்கே வந்துட்டு லைக் இன் எவ்ரி மீட்டிங்ஸ் தட் வி டூ எல்லாரோட வாய்ஸும் கேட்கப்படும். அது வந்துட்டு மேபி தட்ஸ் த கைண்ட் ஆஃப் பிஸ்னஸ் மாடல் தட் யூ கைஸ் ரன் ஆர் லைக் அது இங்கே அப்படி இருக்குது. ஸோ தட் ஐ ஃபீல் இஸ் மச் கம்ஃபர்டபுள் அந்த இடத்துல இருந்து கம்பேர் பண்ணும்போது. ஸோ அண்ட் லைக் யூ செட் ஐ வாசன்ட் ஹேவிங் அ ஷிட்டி டே அட் ஒர்க் பிகாஸ் நான் வேலையே பண்ண மாட்டாங்க. அங்கே ஒர்க்கே இருக்காது பெருசாக. அப்புறம் எங்கே இருந்தாங்க ஷிட்டி ஒர்க் அந்த மாதிரிலாம் இல்லை. பட் என்னன்னா ஐ வாஸ் திங்கிங் லைக் நம்ம எவ்வளோ நாள் இதை பண்ணிகிட்டு இருக்க போகிறோம். தேர்ஸ் லைக் ஐ ஃபெல்ட் லைக் த ஒர்க் தட் ஐ டூ ஹேஸ் லைக் நோ வேல்யூ. ஸோ நான் பெருசாக அந்த ஒர்க்குக்கு எதுவும் நான் என்ன அந்த இடத்துல இருந்து தூக்கிட்டா கூட லைக் தட் வில் ஸ்டில் ரிமைன் தி சேம். அந்த மாதிரி தான் ஐ வாஸ் ஃபீலிங். ஸோ எனக்கு இன்வால்வ்டாக ஃபீல் ஆகலை. ஸோ தட்ஸ் த மெயின் திங். ஸோ அதனால தான் ஐ வாஸ் டெக்ஸ்டிங் யூ. ஸோ லைக் அந்த மாதிரி தான் இட் ஹேப்பன்.
நம்ம மிஸ்டர் எக்ஸிஸ்டென்ஷியல் கிட்ட அப்படியே மைக்கை பாஸ் பண்ணுங்களேன். கேம் ஆடலாம். குட் பாயிண்ட். as the winner of the previous game, I will start.
You will start.
Who won?
You only won, no, last game.
சும்மா ஸ்டாண்ட் தான் இந்த டயலாக் சொல்லிடுறது.
Okay, you can.
Every game Prashanthi only won. Whether she was a part of it or not.
Challenge that.
Wait, who's
Points.
okay? No
I
points.
start. I have coins.
Bluff master. He also has coins.
They?
இல்லை எக்ஸப்ட் மீ அண்ட் ஹிம் எவ்ரி ஒன்.
Sorry, you can start.
யூ ஆஸ்க்.
So, but we have to be careful with that boy. He does cheating. That boy and this.
The game to everyone. What game are you playing?
We are playing this game Coup. This is the dabba. Wait. Coup, guys, if you are watching this, please sponsor us. We love you. So Muthu, Mr. Existential, like you know, Cheryl said, previous company, like he felt like no, like he wasn't making any difference, and I think for you that's a large part of why you train, why you coach. You like the idea of life having more meaning than just going through the motions, right?
Yeah.
So how do you relate that with being in the fitness industry, being as a coach, being in strength system specifically compared to your previous job?
So with the previous job, there was no personal connect to my job. So it was me like going through the motion and not putting any thought into my work. So that got into me like within the 6 months I joined the corporate. But it took me like close to like 4.5 years to transition from that to fitness industry. And then like during the days of my college I used to work out. Then I joined full-time job. I wasn't able to find time for it. So once I decided that this is not I'm going to do for the rest of my life, I started training and then I did my certification. So that is how I transitioned from there. In the second question was like working in a smaller team and with no hierarchy. Like that was really exciting for me. Like I wasn't expecting like this kind of environment here. Like Cheryl also said, like our opinion gets valued, and then yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right. இங்கே சம்மந்தமே இல்லாமல் ஒருத்தர் உட்காந்துட்டு இருக்காரு. அவர்கிட்ட மைக்க தாங்க.
Game ஆடிடுங்க.
நான் ஆடிட்டேன், எக்ஸ்சேஞ்ச் பண்ணிட்டேன். நீங்கள் ஸ்ட்ரென்த் சிஸ்டமில் யார், நீங்கள் என்ன பண்ணுறீங்க, இவ்வளோ ஜாக்டாக இருக்கீங்களே, நீங்கள் தான் கோச்சா?
நோ
ஜாக்டாக இல்லையா நீங்கள்?
இல்லை, நான் கோச் இல்லைன்னு சொல்லுவேன். ஸோ நான் ஸ்ட்ரென்த் சிஸ்டமில் ஐம் ஹேண்டிலிங் ஆல் த ஆப்ரேஷன்ஸ். லைக் பணம் கலெக்ட் பண்ணி கல்லால் போடுறது தான் என்னோட ஒரு மெயின் ஒர்க்காக இருக்கீங்க. இல்லை எல்லாரும் காசு கொடுத்துட்றாங்க. கிளைண்ட்டெல்லாம் அப்படி பேசக்கூடாதுங்க. எல்லா கிளைண்ட்டும் பார்த்துட்டு
நான் ஒரு காசு கொடுக்குறேன்.
ஆமாம், ராஷேக் வந்து மெயினாக வந்து ஷெரிலுக்காக தான் வாங்குறேன். ஏன்னா அவர் தான் ரெகுலர் கஸ்டமர். என்ன கொஸ்டின்?
நீங்கள் யார் ஸ்ட்ரென்த் சிஸ்டமில் என்ன பண்ணுறீங்க? காசு வாங்குறது தவிர மற்ற ஃப்ரீ டைம்லலாம் பைசெப்ஸ் கர்ல்ஸ் பண்ணிட்டு?
நான் வந்து ஸ்ட்ரென்த் சிஸ்டமில் வந்து ஒரு 70% வரமாட்டேன். 30% தான் நான் ஜிம்லேயே இருப்பேன். அந்த 30% ட்ரைனிங் தான் பண்ணிகிட்ருக்கேன்.
எல்லாரும் கோரஸா சொல்லுங்க, you are fired.
அது வந்து கூ ஆடுவேன்,
ஸ்கேட்
போர்ட் பண்ணுவேன்,
Correct.
மீட்டிங் அப்போ காடை உள்ள விடுவேன். ஆமாம், என்னோட ஸ்பான்சர் வந்து பிரசாந்தி தான் ஃபார் டீ அண்ட் ஆல், டீ சமோசா எல்லாத்துக்கும். அது தவிர ஆக்சுவலி நான் வேறு எதுவுமே பண்ணுறது இல்லையோ, இல்லை நிறையா பண்ணுறேன் நான்.
ஆனால் எப்போவுமே ஃபோன் பேசிக்கிட்டே இருப்பீங்களே.
அது வந்து என்னோட வெண்டார் கிட்ட பேசுகிறேன். லைக் ராஷேக் வரலன்னா கால் பண்ணுவேன், இல்லை வெண்டார் கிட்ட பேசுவேன்.
சரி, ஓகே. அப்படியே சிராக் கிட்ட மயக்கத்தாங்க. நீ ஆடிட்டியா? So Chirag, one of the things that frustrates me a lot, okay, like it really frustrates me is, நம்ம ரொம்ப 4 hours கஷ்டப்பட்டு கோச் பண்ணியிருப்போம். We would have been like really excited with the experience we provided, and then a new member will casually come and say, so what is your full time job? அப்படின்னு கேட்டு போயிடுவாங்களா. எனக்கு ஒரு மாதிரி சோகமாக இருக்கும், நாள் முழுக்க ஃபீல் பண்ணிட்டு இருப்பேன். So can you run people through what our job, what does it mean to be a coach? Like what does it mean to be a coach? And then additionally, what does it mean to be a fitness business owner, and how this is actually a full-time job?
Okay, so what does it mean to be a coach at Strength System?
காலையில ஏஞ்சதுலேருந்து ராத்திரி தூங்குற வரைக்கும் run us through your day in the life of Chirag Chodia.
Okay, so from a coaching standpoint, we provide different services at the gym. So we have what we call a semi-private training service, which is our primary coaching service, and I block your steal with captain.
Focus on your with captain.
Yes.
I call bluff.
So while we do focus on coaching services, we also keep track of this game Coup, like who's been winning, who's been losing. And I get my 2 coins back. Okay. But so we have a different coaching schedule. All of us on average coach about, all of us except Praveen, coach about 20 to 25 hours a week in person at the gym. And
This is what happens to me every day. I get killed.
And we have a weighing coaching schedule. So it's like we coach between 6 and 10 in the morning and 4 and 8 in the evening on most days. So if I have a morning session, I'd wake up around 4:45 a.m. and I'd get ready for the session, show up here by around 5:45, 5:50, and then we just go around coaching people, right? So one aspect is showing up to the gym and making sure like the gym is ready for coaching. So each person gets allotted one station, right? So we have to make sure the programs are ready on time, and the equipment is also set up for them, because each person gets allotted one station. So we do interact with all members. A certain section of members, we are their coaches, right? So outside the gym as well, we maintain a relationship. So if they have any questions about the training program, any concerns, anything they want to raise, they would ask us. If there are any questions about membership and other operations related stuff, they'd reach out to Praveen. And
then who does Praveen reach out to?
To which Praveen may or may not respond. Based
Because
on his own response.
correct, 70% இங்க இல்ல.
I think we must understand that Praveen is extremely busy, so his time is important. But yes, there are coaching responsibilities on the floor. There's relationship responsibilities with each member that we are assigned to, who we are working with. And apart from that, we do write programs. These are things that we do outside of the gym. And more importantly, outside of all this, we do have our own in-service or education system. So there are certain personal areas of interest that we have in the fitness industry. So we all learn that on our own. And there are also certain areas that we learn as a team together. So if we find one coaching strategy works really well, or if we're finding that maybe we could coach certain things better, we have discussions, and it's an ongoing process. Right? These things happen outside of the regular coaching hours, right? So that is from a coaching standpoint. And apart from all of this, there are also business aspects that we have to look at. So to make sure all of our accounts and memberships are maintained properly, the records are maintained properly, to ensure the gym is clean. We have to maintain relationship with our co-tenants really well. And if you're a co-tenant in this building, please do come in. We're more than welcome to train here. I know you've complained about us in the past, but let's keep that aside.
We'll give you free coffee.
We're more than happy to interact with our neighbors. So there are a lot of the little aspects that are there outside of coaching also that do take up some time. Right? We do have a team and we do split responsibilities, but there are also decisions that we make together as a team. So it is a full-time job. It is a full-time business because we strive to provide 100% commitment, and in order to do that, it is not possible to do that without fully focusing on our work, and that's what we value. It's so if you're a member at the gym, you might just see us coaching on the floor. You might not see these other aspects. But yes, and we do record podcasts as well. So we try to create content for social media. We have a fantastic social media team who keep shouting at us for not sending content.
Let's clap for ourselves.
But yeah, so there are a lot of things that we do while we're coaching, and a lot of things outside of coaching as well. So yes, it is a full-time job.
Thank you. I'm just gonna grab that recording and then just send it to anybody who says, "What do you do after you go home?" What? Okay, so I think that's a pretty cool summary of what our day looks like. Does anybody else's day look drastically different? I know, like Cheryl goes home and sleeps for the rest of the day, but for the rest of us.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention we do train as well. We train. Yes, someone was wondering. We do train. Yes. Praveen spends a little more time training. Now he has this fantastic watch that he can do more stuff. So, anyway.
Let's stay with you for a bit. You know, we all got into the industry from other industries, right? I mean, everybody came from a different industry. None of us went to school to study fitness. And a big part of why we like to coach is because we also enjoy training. But let me clarify that this team, we are a bunch of coaches first and then athletes. I think one thing that's common among all of us is we'll always prioritize coaching over training, and I think that's why we do what we do really well. But that said, we are also really excited about training, right? And we train very well and we train as a team. So let's just spend a little time talking about what our individual training looks like right now and what our goals are, short-term goals, long-term goals with training, just to sort of give people the idea of how we think about our own training.
All right. Should I start?
Yeah.
Okay. So with respect to my personal training for myself, I think over the last few months, my singular goal has been to train 3 times a week at least. I've been striving to do 4 times a week. So I have an accountability group with Praveen and Prem, and we do train Mondays usually, and sometimes that's just about it for me.
So lesson number 1, write that motivation when it's still there at the start of the week. Get it out of the way. Cool.
So my goal is right now, there are some things that are happening in my personal life that is taking up a lot more time and mind space. So I'm trying to keep training to a minimum, and that doesn't mean that training is taking a back seat, but it just means that, for example, earlier I had like very solid powerlifting goals that I wanted to hit on the squat, bench, and deadlift, but I had a lot of bandwidth to do that. I do not have the bandwidth at this very moment, so right now my very goal is to just train 3 times a week. And the kind of training I don't want it to fatigue me too much, so that it doesn't interfere with outside the gym personal activities. So I'm doing a bro or bodybuilding split with Praveen, and our coach is Cheryl. He is the best coach in the world. Our program has been updated probably in 3 months. It's been 3 months.
It's okay, you're working very hard at strength system.
இந்த ஒரு சைக்கிள் முடிக்கல இன்னும்.
OC clientsக்குலாம் அப்டேட் பண்ண மாட்டேன்னு சொல்லுங்க.
But yeah, we're enjoying the program, so we've been doing that. No complaints. Yeah.
Cool, and I also think this is the first time that after years of all of us having coaches from another country, I think we've all sort of either identified peers who we just bounce ideas off from, or this is the first time I think we are writing our own programs, or trusting our community a little bit better, and I think that's so cool. So we can pass the mic to him, because his training has evolved the most, I think, in the last year in what I've seen. So go on.
So with my training, my goal is to learn the process rather than focused on the numbers. So that has been really exciting for me for the last 6 to 8 months. especially after recovering from the lower back injury. So that is what I'm into. So, and I'm also like, we're all planning to compete. Some of us are planning to compete in the upcoming powerlifting meet, which may happen on September or October. So my training for now is like currently focused on that. So once I do that, I'm not like entirely into powerlifting. I want to explore other stuffs also. So I'm planning to do that once I finish my meet. Right now I'm at a great place in my training. I used to write my own program up until last month, and then I used to consult with strength system coaches as well, and then I'm currently following a program which was given to me by Arkip. So that has been going really great also.
So these names that we're throwing are just people who sort of frame Arkip, are people who are like extended strength system family. They just use our space to train. We bounce ideas off each other. They're like training buddies / colleagues. Praveen has to leave because of his very busy life. So Praveen, how's your training going? And you can also like say a few choice words about your coach and. சொல்லுங்க.
No, I can't able to keep the goal for 3 to 4 years because usually goals on the long term set பண்ணுவாங்க. So I can't able to set that since I have no trying for movies. Character ஏற்ற மாதிரி தான் I have to set my goal. இப்போ நான் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்க ட்ரைனிங் வந்து கம்ப்ளீட்லி ஸ்டேஜில் how I have to lookன்றதுனால ஒரு ப்ரோக்ராம் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கேன். That also I'm sharing with சிராக். ப்ரோக்ராம் வந்து ஒரு 3 மந்த்துக்கு முன்னாடி ஒரு 3 வீக்ஸ்க்கு முன்னாடி அப்டேட் பண்ணியிருக்காரு ஷெரில். அதுதான் இப்போதைக்கு போயிட்டுருக்கு. ஜஸ்ட் ஜஸ்ட் ஜாக், அவ்வளோதான். ஜஸ்ட் ஜாக்டாக இருந்தாலே இப்போ ஐ டோன்ட் வாண்ட்
ஜஸ்ட் ஜாக் போதும்.
பெருசாலாம்
It's a very small thing to be like very jacked. It's like nothing.
Maybe after shows முடிச்சதுக்கப்புறம் I have to change my goals.
And then also a leg focused program?
No, my legs already is enough.
enough.
It's enough.
Greedy-ஆ இருக்க வேண்டாம். இருக்கிறத வச்சு adjust.
ரொம்ப பெருசா I don't want to be look like a bodybuilder and all. Just okay, இருக்கிறது போதும் எனக்கு. Maybe after ஷோக்கு அப்புறம் we'll work on like different goal வச்சுட்டு ட்ரை பண்ணுவோம். Yeah.
Very inspiring. I just want to be jacked. Mottos?
So my training has been like up and down because of the hernia that I've been dealing with for a while. And I think like up until about towards the end of last year, I had a coach, and he was helping me navigate that hernia and still like work towards powerlifting goals. But then with the whole like moving the gym, finding a space, and all of that, like my training took a backseat for sure. There was a period of time when I was like barely training, and I got back into it only about 6-7 weeks ago. And it's been going really well. Like Muthu mentioned, I'm also planning to compete in the powerlifting meet later this year, sometime around September or October, provided my hernia holds up and allows me to train the way I want to. But then I think the biggest change with my training has been that before I worked with my previous coach, John Flagg, I always used to like train too hard. And then it worked great for like about like 3 months. And then after that, I would find that it's not sustainable and my performance would start dropping, aches and niggles would crop up, stuff like that. So I think the biggest change in my approach to training is like being okay doing less and leaving something on the table. There is this quote by like Jacob Zipkin who says, make training decisions today that will make tomorrow's workout better. Because training is a long game. No matter what your goal is, you're not going to get there in like 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. That's not the timeline you're looking at. You're looking at like years and years and years. And once you get there, how do you maintain that? By like training for years and years and years. So keeping that in mind, I think it makes a lot of sense that you take decisions today that will not affect tomorrow's workout, because we're not going to do something great tomorrow. We're going to be in it for the long haul. Currently I'm training for powerlifting. I'm writing my own program. I've spent a lot of time working with different coaches, learning all of their approach. I think it's like Prashanthi also mentioned, I think it's time all of us like put what we have learned into our own training, like apply it and learn that better. And that's where I'm at right now.
Awesome. Cheryl?
என் ட்ரைனிங் வந்துட்டு இப்போ தூங்கணும் முதல்ல, அதுதான் என்னோட ட்ரைனிங் கோல். So I've not been getting enough sleep since I joined strength system because like I'm not a
okay, this has nothing to do with strength system. This has everything to do with
system. Vakila na poturan. புகைப்பிடித்தல் உடல் நலத்திற்கு கேடு மாதிரி நான் போட்டுடுறேன், இதுக்கும் ஸ்ட்ரென்த் சிஸ்டம்க்கும் சம்மந்தம் இல்லை அப்படின்ட்டு. ஸோ இட்ஸ் பிகாஸ் ஆஃப் மை ப்ரீவியஸ் ஜாப் அண்ட் ஆல்சோ சின்ன வயசுலேருந்தே எனக்கு ஐம் நாட் அ மார்னிங் பர்சன் அட் ஆல். லைக் ஐ வேக் அப் லைக் அரௌண்ட் லைக் ஒரு 10-11 அந்த மாதிரி நல்லா.
By the time we're done with our morning shift.
Yeah. காலையில் 4 மணிக்கு தான் நான் தூங்க போவேன், ஆனால் இப்போ நான் 4:30 மணிக்கு எந்திக்கிற மாதிரி சிச்சுவேஷன் வந்துருச்சு.
And you basically live in Andhra.
My mom is very happy.
You live in Andhra, so 1 hour driving time is also there.
நிஜமாவே ஆந்திரா தான். பசங்கள்லாம் வந்தாங்க, இன்னும் ஒரு 2 மணி நேரத்தில் போயிட்டோம் ஆந்திராக்கு.
What?
Literally.
Correct.
Yeah. So என்ன சொல்லிட்டு இருந்தேன்?
Your mother is very happy, you're waking up on time.
So my sleep is taking a toll. I'm still not able to figure out like my sleeping schedule. அப்போ தான் ஏதாச்சும் பெட்டராக நடக்கும், டக்குன்னு ஏதாச்சும் ஒன்று வந்து திருப்பி இட் லைக் கோ பேக் டு மை ப்ரீவியஸ் திங். ஸோ தட்ஸ் மை லைக் goal as of now to get enough sleep. So I think once that falls into place, everything else like will fall into place.
So we've been helping you sleep at the gym, right? We see you on the couch, on the bean bag, everywhere.
We'll make sure we put like a collage of Cheryl's sleeping poses after this.
Sure.
Okay, since Praveen has left, I will be playing instead of him. We just cooed Nivedan and I will take tax. Okay, so since we've all spoken about our training, I think we've all evolved as coaches and we've also evolved in the way we approach training, clearly, right? We've all... என்ன பண்றீங்க? என்னது?
Slice பண்றேன்.
Assassination.
I block with Contessa.
Bluff. ஐயோ, என்கிட்ட கேப்டனாக இருந்தது.
என்னது?
Bunch of cheaters. Okay. So, and we've all changed our minds about many things in the last 2 years. I think especially the three of us, right? And I don't know, maybe you also, right? I think you joined us at a time where we were transitioning to be a version of what we are. So you were sort of like in between both. So, and I think a lot of the evolution comes from the fact that we also really think about our training and we think about how we apply the stuff and how it is. We think about the context that we apply things a lot. For example, we'll say, இது நம்ம படிச்சிருக்கோம், இது சூப்பராக இருக்குது, but it doesn't make any sense for our target audience. So we've used multiple parameters to change our minds. I don't know what the point of all of that was, but my question is, what is the thing you're super excited about in the industry? Like, it can be something you've changed your mind about, it can be something that's happening in the industry and you're excited to be part of it. Who has the mic? Okay, Moto, you can start.
I think so. I can only talk about the part of the industry I follow and like keep tabs on, right? Like there's like many camps in the industry, and I think the biggest change has been shifting from like, okay, I know I have all of this information, I know all this, I know for like, let's say this person A comes to me and they tell me this is their goal, then 2 years ago the way I would have thought about it would have been like, okay, this person wants to go from here to here, I know what is the exact program they should do to get there, or like what numbers they should hit, or like what parameters they should track to get there. I think the biggest change now is, while that is always going to be in the back of the mind, I'm going to first assess where this person is right now. What will help them enjoy this process and stick with it long enough for them to see the results they want to see. I can write the best program in the world, I can think of like all the other things that science says and write a program, but if they don't follow it, what use is it? So I think the biggest change in approach has been from like looking at it as like a, hey, I'm your coach, I know what you should do, listen to me. I think we've all gone from that to, I think we should work together on this. You tell me what works for you, you tell me what has worked in the past. I think these things can help. Let's find an approach that will get us closest to the best approach for you right now. I think that's the biggest change, and I do see like the camp of trainers that I follow, I do see that change happening a lot, and I'm most excited about that because that gives everyone freedom and autonomy in the training process rather than being dependent on someone else. Because at the end of the day, this is not rocket science. You don't need to know all the research papers, you don't need to read like a bunch of books to know what to do in the gym. You can get away with knowing just the basics for the rest of your life, and anyone who acts as like a gatekeeper to that training knowledge or that information, I think should not be in the industry because they're making it less accessible. I think that's the change I'm excited about the most.
Let's go to Chirag, and I think it's a really cool point you make about like, I mean, I think when you mention camps, what strikes me the most is earlier we were sort of like stuck in camps, but now I think we do a much better job of navigating through these camps, and We also do a very good job of taking exactly what we want from each camp and disposing the rest. And I think we've become masters of that. Even if I say so myself, we do a great job of like not saying this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, but we're good at saying this works for us, for our context. And this doesn't work, this doesn't apply for us, for our context. Okay, what is your biggest change / what are you excited about the most?
There's so many things, but I think the most, I think Nivedhan finished up by saying accessibility, right? So training accessibility comes in different forms, and for example, it could be like training kids, it could be training special populations quotations, because it's hard to demarcate like who is a special population, how training differs. But I think I've most recently been spending a lot of time learning about how to work with seniors, and it's hard to define a senior, but usually someone above the age of 50-60 who is looking to train, right? Because most often seniors are told that you shouldn't lift weights, right? And when the research is saying exactly the opposite, that you do need to have some kind of progressive resistance training. So I'm definitely interested in learning a lot more about that. I had the opportunity to work with a 10-year-old earlier, and so I'm really interested in making training more accessible and making people more comfortable with the idea of lifting weights, right? I think right now I'm working a lot more with seniors, so I'm most excited about getting seniors just to start thinking about the possibility of lifting weights, just to get comfortable with the idea that it is safe and completely okay to lift weights. And I think if I can make a contribution in that, that would be a big change, not just for the industry, for everyone.
Yeah, I think it's like Tuesdays and Thursday mornings are so fun in the gym. Like it's crazy some of the cool things that your senior group does. It's exciting for us also.
Awesome.
Yeah, and Muthu, I think for you've like sort of gone from being an intern with Strength System to now, starting to build your own relationship with your members. You're talking to them about stuff they do outside the gym. You're writing their programs. You're more involved in their training than you were even a few months ago. How has that been, and what are you excited about?
The thing I'm excited about is I'm reading about like what is the minimal thing that needs to be done in relation to physical activity. So it can be inside gym, or like it can be like anything outside the gym also. For example, like general population, what is that they need to do to be like physically active? Minimal recommendation that they need to do. So I'm working on like how can I facilitate that to like most number of people. So with in relation to your question, like working with people the members that I have been assigned to, and one area that I'm working on is like building a relationship with them. So I've realized that once I have that relationship with them, then only that the information I share or like they will the information they share to me will be like it won't be like in a forced way. It will be flowing in a natural state. So
But
that
you
is,
guys sort of earn each other's
yeah.
trust, right?
So that is something that I'm working on now. Yeah.
Super. Were you gonna say something else?
No.
Okay, cool. So Cheryl,
Cut பண்ணணும்.
huh?
Nothing.
No, it's okay. So Cheryl, you've been in the industry, I think, for longer than you've coached at Strength System, and I think you're maybe the first person who we've hired not from our internship and with some prior experience. And usually when we hire people with prior experience, it's very difficult for us to get past their dogmas, and they always look at us as like, why are they saying okay to everything, or Mari, they'll be confused by what we're saying. So with you, I think you also came to us with a very similar mindset of everything is okay, everything is not okay, it's all dependent on context, is your approach also, which is why I think you fit in fairly well. Two parts to your question: what are you excited about, and how has it been to actually coach people in person? Mainly you've done online coaching. You're practically internet famous, right? So like people recognize you on the road and stuff like that. This morning somebody recognized him, by the way. Yaro paartha muscle mechanics aan ketangala. So like, how has the difference, what is the biggest difference you see in coaching people virtually versus coaching people in person, and what are you excited about?
So the thing that I'm excited about is like இப்போ with respect to my training கேக்குறீங்களா இல்ல
No, coaching. Nobody cares about your training.
Oh, coaching. So the thing about coaching is like communication now, because I like communicating a lot with people. So I'm excited about communication because like even with online training, most people do it through texting. I prefer doing more calls. Like I do like 1 hour calls, 1.5 hours call with my clients. So that excites me most when I'm doing it on the floor. So I get to know what they really value, what they really care about, and stuffs like that. So that's pretty exciting to me. Another question. That's
What is
my
the
issue.
difference?
மறந்து போயிடுங்க.
தூங்குனா மறக்காது சொல்லிருக்காங்க.
வாழ்க்கையிலே இப்படிதான்.
What is the biggest difference that you see in coaching in person versus, ஏன்னா நான் நிறைய வாட்டி உங்களை முன்னாலே கேட்டிருக்கேன், நீங்க RD எல்லாம் எப்படி கோச் பண்ணுவீங்க?
RP இல்ல.
நான் உங்ககிட்ட கேட்டிருக்கேன் just like out of curiosity. So and you said நான் இப்படி கோச் பண்ணுவேன், and obviously like coaching it in person is very different, right? So what are the biggest differences you see?
I feel online training விட coaching in person I feel இப்போ நான் என்ன நினைக்கிறேனோ அதை வந்துட்டு I'm able to make the member do it. So with respect to online training, I'm not sure what they will do. நான் ஒன்று சொல்லுவேன், I might think that it has been communicated to them well, but அவங்க பாட்டுக்கு இஷ்டத்துக்கு ஏதாச்சும் ஒன்று பண்ணுவாங்க, ரிசல்ட்ஸ் வராமல் இருக்கும். அது ஏன் வரல, எதுக்கு வரலன்னு எதுக்குமே நமக்கு எதுவுமே இருக்காது. பட் இங்கே வந்துட்டு அதான் நான் ஃபஸ்ட் பாயிண்ட் சொன்ன மாதிரியே I'm able to communicate with them better. லைக் அதில் வந்துட்டு என்ன தான் I'm able to communicate with them better. I feel like நான் அந்த RPRARலாம் ஒரு 45 minutes கிட்ட நான் உட்காந்து பேசுவேன். லைக் ஒரு டிஃப்ரெண்ட் சினாரியோஸ் கொடுத்து என்னென்ன மாதிரி லைக் இந்த மாதிரி லோட் ஃபெயில் ஆனால் அப்படி இப்படின்ற மாதிரிலாம். இங்கே வந்துட்டு லைக் அவங்களுக்கு லிட்டரலாக நடக்கும் போதே நம்ம பேசுகிறதுனால they are able to experience it better. So online versus offline la, that's what I feel. And also எனக்கு அவ்வளோவா எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் இல்லை லைக் அந்த இது என்ன இது பேர்
ஃப்ளோர் கோச்சிங்
ஸோ ஃப்ளோர் கோச்சிங்கில் அவ்வளோவா எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் இல்லை அப்படின்றதுனால ஐ எம் நியூ டு திஸ் ப்ராசஸ். ஸோ அந்த லேர்னிங்க்குமே லைக் ஐ எம் ஏபிள் டு எம்ப்ரேஸ் இட் அண்ட் என்ஜாய் இட். ஸோ
cool. So we will start wrapping this up, and I think we are at a point where we are truly excited to wake up in the morning and show up to the gym, right? At least I am, after a long time, because I have full conviction in what we're doing. Like I love what it is that we're doing and what it is that we stand for. So in the next 5 years, let's each take turns to answer this. What do we see our role and Strength Systems role in the grand scheme of things in the fitness industry? It can be in Chennai, it can be like, I think even if I'm saying this and even other people haven't said this about us, but I think to a certain level we can be considered industry disruptors. You know, 2015 la vandu no other gym existed like this, and I don't think any other gym has these many people lifting barbells at the same time in Chennai, and I don't think any other gym has these many women lifting barbells so comfortably at the same time. So I think and when we opened the gym, நிறைய பேர் வந்து நம்ம ஜிம்மை ஃபோட்டோலாம் எடுத்து போய் we also want the turf like this, what is this pushing thing, sled on the photo எடுத்து போவாங்க. So the way we did things, I think, has led to a lot of other gyms cropping up similarly. So where do you see ourselves going with our amazingness? You can answer because you've been here longest.
So like with my answer for the first question that you asked, I don't think I still have a clear idea of like exactly where I want Strength System to go. But I do have like some ideas of like what Strength System should do along the way. At least that I'm clear about. And I think the biggest thing is going to be making training and the entire process of like fitting training into your lifestyle more accessible and easy for as many people as possible. I think that's the biggest thing that we do very, very well. Because like this is something we talk about often. It's like the fitness industry creates a lot of hoops for people to jump through to even be able to do a random barbell squat. It's like people do a lot more complicated physical tasks in their life every damn day. A squat is not that complicated. Just like put that bar on your back and go down and come back up. But then the industry would like so that we feel like I really think this is one of the big reasons. It's like coaches can feel good about what they do and like think they're really doing some complicated work. We just create a lot of hoops for people to jump through before they get to where they need to go. And I think that can be like, the process can be made so much simpler and easier for everybody. And I think Strength System will always strive to do that for as many people as possible. And I guess like over the next year or so, I will have a clearer idea of where I see strength system going. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that answer because I think on any given day, we've now created an environment where people are very comfortable saying, I don't feel like squatting today, can I do something else? And they know we won't say no. I think we are now the place that says yes or sure, let's try to everything. We don't say no to anything. And that's what I'm most excited about. That's why I wake up with so much excitement to come and coach every morning. That we are the yes people.
So one more example like this. Now that Prashanti mentioned, like people come and tell us like they don't want to do what's on their program. They don't like, some days they don't feel like doing their workout and they want to do something random. Like we didn't really start out there. We also like all of us got here over a period of time, like going through this and like analyzing what we are doing and constantly trying to see like how can we better this. And I think the fact that people feel comfortable to come tell us, hey, I know you wrote this program for me, you put thought into this, but I don't feel like doing this today. And I know you won't feel offended because of this. I think that's a big deal. Like Muthu and you were also talking about like earning their trust. I think that's earning their trust for sure.
I also think it's very cool. Like somebody saw somebody else do a barbell bench press and said, I want to try that. And he didn't say, hey, you're not ready for it. No, you have to do 10 push-ups first, then you have to do 25 kg dumbbell bench press, then muscle imbalance, then
shoulder rotations,
then we can do the barbell bench press. That's what we would have done 3 years ago.
Exactly, yeah.
And now we let that person barbell bench press and in 2 weeks, they are bench pressing just fine.
Yep.
Like it's crazy. Like
this person has never trained before, by the way. They started training 2 weeks ago. The second week of their training, they saw somebody do a barbell bench press and they're like, hey, can I try that?
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, I think removing or reducing the number of barriers there is for somebody to get fit, I think is definitely one of our strong points. Chirag.
Sorry, what was the question? Where do we see ourselves going?
What is our role?
5 years where do you see
He said, I don't know, சொல்லிட்டானே. இன்னும் அடுத்த வருஷம் anniversary podcastல சொல்லுவோம்.
Yeah, next year I will have an answer for that.
We'll hold you to that.
Okay. My answer might answer a slightly different question, but I will say it anyway. I think one of the unique things about us is that we really care about the training experience, right? So when I say training experience, it's not just what you're doing on the training floor. Like for example, right now we're seated off the training floor, and sometimes people walk in here because it is just their me time. It's just their personal time, and they're away from the rest of the world and they just want to have a good time, right? And we try to understand that, right? So if someone is like, hey, I'm good with just doing like a few basic exercises, just move around a little bit, and then I'm good with like sitting on the couch and playing Jenga or something like that, we're okay with that, right? So we are quite approachable that way, and we are also understanding, even if I say so myself.
I think we are. I agree with you.
Yeah. So we try not to impose our own beliefs onto them. We don't try to our own goals onto them. As a coach, we'd be really excited. If everyone's able to do like 10 push-ups, no problem. It's awesome. It's something that we're extremely proud of. At the same time, it's not something that will hold us back as well. Like if someone doesn't want to do it, does not mean that they have to do it, right? So we really try to understand and create the best training atmosphere and experience possible, and I think we all play a role in that. I think coming to understand that coaching also involves that. It's not just program design and technique and ensuring everything is perfect, which does not even exist. So it's a lot more than that. Coming to understand that and ensuring that we are able to maintain that consistent training atmosphere, ensuring that people feel welcome here. There are a lot of people who are happy just training twice a week and they don't want to be pushed to training thrice a week. And there's some people who want to train 6 times a week. So trying to find a way to meet everyone where they're at and do that, I think that is our uniqueness, so to speak, and preserving that in the next 5 years, so to speak, I think will be the biggest turning point.
We'll blow up. Yeah. Like we'll blow up. Okay.
Right. So whether it's a senior wanting to train, whether it's anyone wanting to feel comfortable in the gym, we try to we take the extra step to make that happen. Sometimes it'll be like a tangible action, sometimes it's not. You won't be able to see it, but we do have conscious conversations about that, and I think that's that's what's exciting, and that's what I'd like to work towards in the next 5 years to maintain that.
That's awesome. I love that answer. A plus, gold star, 10 out of 10, everything.
I don't get an A plus or a gold star.
No, but like he really like touched my heart. But I think that's very cool because I also agree. I mean, I also think that like a lot of service industry businesses will say, oh, we really care. But I think a lot of it is performative. And I don't think anything we do is performative. I think we truly care. If it was performative, then I think everybody would have a more homogeneous experience. I think with strength system, everybody's experience is slightly different. Not to say that we are biased towards some people and we are not, but I think we truly understand what each person wants. And we'll remember like the weirdest things. We'll remember how somebody likes their coffee. We'll remember which rack somebody likes. We'll remember who somebody doesn't want to train next to. We just remember like things that we don't need to remember, but we do because it will make somebody's experience better over here. And I think that's what makes our care more genuine than the performative care that the service industry, like, you know, the fake smile that is so Instagram friendly. Okay, Muthu. What was the question? 5 years down the line, when you're older and a man from being a boy.
For that, I need to be there first.
We're not doing morbid stuff here.
So I'll first talk about strength system. So I remember a conversation we both were having. So
we both.
Yeah. So you were telling like we are able to like cater to like wide variety of lifters. So for example, like one at this side of the floor, one person would be like training for a serious, maybe like a powerlifting goal. He'll be training there, and next to him might be a person who just wants to like get his weekly touches of physical activity, and they both are having a good time training next to each other. So that is something really exciting, and like the environment at the strength system is like each of us like feeds into like each other. Like one member like experience gets feeded into like another lifter. Similar example to Nivedan mentioned, like if someone sees someone doing another lift, they straight away ask us like, can I do that? And we don't say no to them. So that is something like I'm really excited about. I don't know like whether this environment will be like found in any other gyms in India. So that is something I'm really excited about.
So you're saying our ability to cater to a wide variety of audience is what will set us apart in the next 5 years. So making training more accessible to more people. Cool. Chill.
Next 5 years strength system.
And yeah, what is our role as a team in the fitness industry?
So
assuming none of us fire each other in those 5 years.
I feel next 5 yearsல இது வந்துட்டு நான் ஒரு 3-4 monthsாகவே என் மைண்டை ஓடிட்டு இருக்கிறது என்னென்னா இன் லைக் நெக்ஸ்ட் 5 to 6 years நம்ம கூட ஒரு வாட்டி பேசணும் லைக்
ஃபேமஸ் ஆகிடலாம்
டைப் இந்த மாதிரி ஜிம்ஸ் வந்துட்டு இட் வில் ஸ்டார்ட் லைக் பூமிங் அ லாட் அப்படின்ற மாதிரி. ஸோ அப்போ வந்துட்டு வில் பி லைக் அந்த டாப் ஆஃப் த பிரமிடில் மாதிரி. ஸோ ஐ ஃபீல் இன் லைக் 5 years பீப்புள் இப்போ நம்ம இங்கே எல்லாருமே சொன்ன விஷயங்கள் எல்லாமே இப்போ நம்ம சொல்லி பீப்புளுக்கு தெரிகிற மாதிரி இருக்குது. ஸோ ஐ திங்க் இன் 5 years பீப்புள் வில் ஸ்டார்ட் எக்ஸ்பீரியன்சிங் லைக் நோவிங் த கைண்ட் ஆஃப் சர்வீஸ் தட் வி ப்ரொவைட் அண்ட் அவங்க நம்மளை தேடி வருவாங்க நிறைய பேர் அப்படின்ற மாதிரி ஐ ஃபீல் அப்பார்ட் ஃப்ரம் த ஆல்வாஃபேட் ஏரியா. சரி. ஸோ லைக்
லோ ப்ளோ பட் accepted.
So that's what I feel, and our role in fitness industry is to debunk myths. That's what I feel. So you know like most coaches இருக்கிற அந்த mainstream approach நம்ம எடுக்காம like as everyone said we like put clients experience first. அவங்களுக்கு என்ன வேணுமோ அதுக்கு நம்ம எவ்வளோ கொடுக்கணுமோ அது மட்டும் கொடுத்தா போதும். நமக்கு இருக்கிற வந்துட்டு புளுத்தி கலட்டுறோம் பாரு அப்படின்ற மாதிரி நம்ம எதுவும் பண்ண தேவையில்ல அப்படின்ற மாதிரி you can edit that part if you want. ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி என்னோட திறமையெல்லாம் போட்டு நான் ஒரு ப்ரோக்ராம் எழுதி கலட்டுறோம் பாரு அப்படின்ற மாதிரி லைக் we are not doing anything. Like we give what people want. அவங்களுக்கு எது பெஸ்ட்டுன்ட்டு நம்ம நினைக்கிறோமோ we tend to give them. and I think like that will be our role.
Yeah, I think what I'm most excited for is, I think post-pandemic, the fitness industry has become so largely online, right? Like everybody, it's become so high-tech, and everything is about data collection and tracking and making it super accessible, and
படம் எக்ஸல்ல படம் அப்படியே மேலே போய் அப்படியே கீழே வரும்.
graphs, அதுக்கு பேர் graph.
Graph.
Like I think we've complicated fitness more than we need to, especially like in a post-pandemic world. And I think நம்ம குவாய்ட்டா வந்து we've been practicing and developing and honing our skills of doing this IRL. அப்படின்னா என்னன்னு சொல்லு?
In real life.
Today you learned.
இது ஐஆர்எல்
In real life.
in real life.
So no, he didn't believe that IRL was a real thing. Anyway, so I think that's what is exciting for me, when people realize that you can stick all the trackers you want and you can download all the apps you want, and at the end of the day, when you don't know what it is that you want, you can do all of that. But when you realize this is what I want for my fitness, I think having a coach and a community matters so much more than any app or any tracker or any amount of data can, and that's what I'm excited for. Okay, two last question. No, we have two more questions, but last question. If you guys have advice for somebody, like I said, நம்ம எல்லாருமே வேற இண்டஸ்ட்ரியில இருந்து வந்திருக்கோம். None of us thought fitness was a viable career for us. Like I think your family has said gym master ஆக போறியா, and like even though he became the true gym master, yeah, like your mom still was talking to me that day, right? And your family had apprehensions too, because there's a big family business that they assumed you would be part of, and we've actually not spoken much about this part, but I'm sure there are things that your family had to say too. It's not for the lack of a better word, it's not a well-respected, socially accepted job or profession, right? So what advice do you have, not to the parents and families of people who are looking to get into the industry, but people who have, like for me, I never considered, even though I've always been athletic and sporty, I never thought I could make a career out of it until the opportunity was handed to me in a platter. இல்லாட்டி நான் நினச்சிருக்கவே மாட்டேன். I would have been somewhere else. So not everybody will get that chance. So what do you guys have to tell to people, to those people? So we have more cool people in the industry. Muthu.
So I will say it comes to like what you feel you will be happy doing. So if you can figure that out, the next thing will be like convincing your closer circle.
என்ன சொல்லி கன்வின்ஸ் பண்ணுவேன்?
I like to do this, that's it. I'm happy doing this. That is the part I think like most people will have trouble in, because they will have a perception that what these people will think of me if I do this. And if you can figure that out, it's similar to like taking your decisions on your own terms. So if you can able to do that, I think you will figure your way out.
I'm going to add a second part to the question. ஏன்னா இந்த மாதிரி ambiguous-ஆ பதில் சொல்லி நீங்களாம் escape ஆயிடுவீங்க. What gives you job satisfaction? Like if somebody asks you, why should I enter the fitness industry? Clearly, if you work in a business like Strength System, we can't say, yeah, you become rich as hell. We are never going to be like as rich as the other.
In 5 years.
In 5 years, we'll be rich. But like leading up to that, because we are so careful about our ethics and morals and values, we are never going to like start 10 Strength Systems, right? We'll always be a single unit gym, and we'll care most about the space and our community.
So you're asking about like what makes.
How will you sell the role of a fitness coach to somebody?
You can't sell it, I guess.
How will rejected? Pass the mic. No, I'm joking. What gives you job satisfaction?
It will be like a cliche answer, but it's the personal like connect I have with the people I work with. So one example will be like I was working with a member called Rakesh, right? So as I was learning about like he had like serious episodes of pain related to lower back and knee injuries like that. At that time only I was also like getting into like pain science, how it works and all. So I was as I was learning, I was sending him the materials and all, and he will read through it, and then he will get back to me, and then like say next session he will say like I read through this was helpful and amari, and then he invited me to his own podcast.
It's pretty cool.
I'm not saying like the goal is to be like invited to a podcast, but like the message will be like having like personal touch on people's life. That is what gives me
It's a
satisfaction.
cliche answer, but it's a great answer. You can pass it to Chirag.
Sorry, what is the question again?
நீ யாருக்கு ஆரஞ்சு ஜூஸ் வாங்கி தருவ?
Okay. So, I think there are multiple aspects to this. I'll very quickly go over it. First one being that it is something that is definitely exciting. It is something that is that I truly enjoy. Like, I like to wake up. I like to coach people about fitness, and I like to at least here at Sense System make it the best part of their day. And the other aspect is I do get time to pursue my personal interests as well, and there is an opportunity to make that as part of the professional interests as well. And I think being able to meet your interests and professional interests, when I say professional interests or business interests, it usually gives off like a negative connotation, but I like to think of it as when you try to do something in your personal capacity, you might have a certain reach, limited reach, but when you try to do it using the resources of a business, you might be able to influence a larger section of people. And being a part of that, being a part of real tangible change and seeing that for yourself can be really motivating and can push you to meet new challenges every day. We see challenges in every profession, but challenges that you enjoy doing and you enjoy being you enjoy it so much that you come up with creative solutions for those challenges. I think that's what is most exciting to me, and I have an opportunity to do that here, and that's what I think can be exciting for other people as well.
Awesome. Shall
என்ன கொஸ்டின் மறந்துருச்சு அவர் ஆன்சர்லேயே கேரியர்.
What is the question? How would you
Orange juice.
see with you? That was a hook.
Orange juice is what I was offered at during my interview. I did not. Yeah.
You did not?
Because
I
he
did
said,
not
I
go
don't
to the
drink tea,
interview.
I don't drink coffee. Indada orange juice yadu kudichi tholangi. What gives you job
Job
satisfaction, and what advice would you give to somebody who is hesitant to confidently join the industry?
So what gives me job satisfaction na like improving their quality of life. அது மாதிரி எனக்கு ரொம்ப like it sorts of give me a high. So and also putting a smile on people's face, like இங்கே வரும்போது நம்மள்ட்ட அந்த அவங்க இன்ட்ராக்ட் பண்ணும்போதே I could see like they are like அவங்களுக்கு ஒரு ஹாப்பினஸோட தான் பண்ணுறாங்க, they are not faking it out அப்படின்ற மாதிரி எனக்கு I personally feel. So that sorts of give me a high. So and people entering fitness industry as a career na I would say starting la konja kandipa கஷ்டமா தான் இருக்கும், because like they will have to அவங்க ஃபர்ஸ்ட் படிக்கணும், உள்ள வரணும். எந்த ஜிம்ல
ஆமா, அது ஒன்று கிளாரிஃபை பண்ணிடலாம். நம்ம எல்லாம் ஒரு நாளைக்கு எவ்வளோ படிப்போம்னு எல்லார்கிட்டையும் சொல்லிடலாம். பிகாஸ் ஐ டோன்ட் திங்க் பீப்புள் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் ஹவு மச் டைம் வி ஸ்பெண்ட் லேர்னிங். ஆன் ஆவரேஜ் வி ஆல் ஸ்பெண்ட் அட்லீஸ்ட் சொல்லுங்க.
3 hours.
I think
a couple of hours a day.
I think at least 2 or 3 hours we spend time looking at industry trends, pursuing personal areas of interest, studying for our members.
So அது எல்லாமே பண்ணிட்டு உள்ள வரும்போது there will be initially I feel புதுசா வந்தாங்கன்னா நான் அதான் சொல்லுவேன், initially there will be like lot of struggle, but once they are able to establish a name inside the industry with some good morals, I think they're done for life. Settle ஆயிரலாம், ரொம்ப ஈஸியாக செட்டில் ஆகலாம். That's what I feel.
So you think like they should learn to be patient, or a doctor lawyer job madri, like build their way up, but then do the right things building their way up, and then they'll just blow up and become famous.
Because like I feel இப்போ ஷார்ட் ட்ரெண்ட்ஸ் பண்ணி மேலே வரவங்கலாம் ஆனால் அந்த பாயிண்டில் சம்பாரிச்சுட்டு வெளியே போயிடுறாங்க. பட் அவங்க பேர் வந்துட்டு நான் பார்த்த வரைக்கும் ரொம்ப நாள் இருக்கிறது இல்லை. ஸோ ஒரு லெவலுக்கு போகிறாங்க, எல்லாருக்குமே அவங்கள பற்றி தெரிஞ்சிருது, அவங்க ஏன் பண்ணுறாங்க இது அப்படின்றது எல்லாருமே பீப்புள் ஆர் ஏபிள் டு ஃபிகர் இட் அவுட். இப்போ ஏன்னா முன்ன மாதிரி இல்லை, முன்னாடி வந்துட்டு வேர்ட் ஆஃப் மவுத்தில் தான் போயிட்டே இருக்கும். இப்போது தேர் ஆக்ஷன்ஸ் கான்ட்ரடிக்ட், அவங்க முன்னாடி பேசினதை விட இப்போ கான்ட்ரடிக்ட் பண்ணுறதுனால ரொம்ப ஈஸியாக பீப்புள் ஆர் ட்ரைங் டு லைக் பீப்புள் ஈஸிலி ஸ்பாட் அவுட் ஃபேக் ட்ரைனர்ஸ். ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கிறதுனால லைக் பில்ட் தேர் வே ஆஃப் பில்ட் குட் மாரல்ஸ், அதுலேயே ஸ்டிக் ஆன் டு இட் அப்படின்னா கண்டிப்பாக they'll be able to succeed.
Good answer.
So I think my job satisfaction answer is not going to be very different from Cheryl's. It's like two parts, but they're not different from each other. One is when every person walks into the gym, whoever I work with, I want to make sure that the 45 minutes or an hour that they spend here is the best 1 hour of that day, right? Like you want to give them an experience where they walk away feeling good about themselves. The other thing is like improving quality of like when a member comes to me and says like, hey, I could only like I could barely like stand for 15 minutes before, like, and then now that I've trained for a while, now I'm able to go on treks in the Himalayas, or I'm able to like whatever, like do a 60-kilometer cycling run or whatever it is. So
just
I think
stand for 5 minutes without pain.
exactly, like I can stand and cook a proper meal in my kitchen. Like I think those are the things that excite me the most, or actually those are the things that give me the most job satisfaction. And in terms of like advice to like entrance into the industry, trying to cover a point that like nobody has covered already, I think in a lot of cases, like you also mentioned, with the entire industry going like online now post pandemic, I think what is most lacking is people actually applying the knowledge they have acquired through like reading books and like whatever else, and really understanding the nuts and bolts of practical application. Because like a book can tell you like some information, but does it really play out exactly that way in the real world? In most cases, no. There are like a lot of dynamic variables that you're not going to be able to account for. And I think anyone entering the industry, I think it's very, very important to learn that they need to like learn the basics first, apply it rigorously, learn everything you need to there before jumping into like very advanced concepts and thinking I'm going to train like advanced athletes. No, first learn how to coach like a normal person who doesn't have athletic aspirations. Can you get them to their basic goal first? Can you do that very well? Like, so learn to apply the information you're consuming and build on top of that.
It's a very good point. I remember when we opened the gym, we also bought 30 PVC pipes because we wanted to teach everybody the clean and jerk. And then we realized, let's first teach everybody how to squat. And then we threw all those PVC pipes. So yeah, I think that's a very, very good point. Okay, last test question. Where can people find you? Give us your Instagram handles and quickly talk about what kind of information you mainly put out. So if somebody's interested in that, they will stalk you more.
You can find me on Instagram.
He'll be the account that never puts out information.
Exactly, that's exactly what I was going to say. I don't put out any information at all.
That's going to change this year.
The imposter syndrome is very real here.
Oh, we can talk about that if you want.
Yeah, I mostly like feel very anxious about like putting out information because I've realized that most of the things I learned in the first couple of years in the fitness industry and thought were completely true turned out to be completely wrong. And I'm changing my mind on like a lot of the basic concepts that I learned earlier when I entered the industry. And knowing all of that, I find it very hard for me to authoritatively talk about like a lot of things. So that's one reason why I don't put out any content at all. And I think it's going to take some time for me to figure that out and like really come out with content aimed at other people. For now, you can find information about how my training is going and how I'm managing my training on my Instagram at Nivedan Suresh.
Awesome. You can just pass.
என் இன்ஸ்டாகிராம் அக்கௌண்ட்டை ஃபாலோ பண்ணால் விஜய் பாட்டு கேட்கலாம், இளையராஜா பாட்டு கேட்கலாம், மசில் நல்லா பாட்டு கேட்கலாம்.
விஜய் பாட்டு கேட்கலாம்.
ஆமாம், மசில் மெக்கானிக்ஸ்லேயும் பாட்டு தான், பாட்டு சேனல் தான் நடத்திட்டு இருக்கேன். ஆமாம் ஆமாம். ஸோ நல்லா ஃபாலோ பண்ணுறீங்கன்னா வந்து யூ கைஸ் கேன் ரீச் மீ at Cheryl Faithlin, CHERYLFAITHLIN.
What are the services you offer?
Nothing. You can come and hear music and go off.
What is muscle? Like if somebody wants to build muscle.
So I also run a Instagram page.
You mean a YouTube channel?
And a YouTube channel. So அது வேணும்னா muscle mechanics _mm.
அங்க ஏற்கனவே ஃபேமஸா இருக்கும், உங்களுக்கு இதுக்கு மேல அட்டென்ஷன் வேண்டாம் தான் சொல்றீங்க. Okay.
What about the more popular lesser known services?
More popular?
You don't want to talk about your social media content consultancy?
Nothing. Nothing like that.
Yeah.
Only for strength system.
You want to learn what social media is, how to post, what to post, when to post, everything. He's your man. I mean, you can reach out to me at chaudhya.chirag. I post quite frequently. It's almost once a year now.
நான் யோசிக்கிறேன் நம்ம ஏதாச்சும் பார்க்காம விட்டோமா அப்படின்னு.
வேற ஏதாவது சிராக் ஜோடி வச்சிருக்கானா?
I often reshare strength system posts. So
Upon much insistence.
so if you miss out on strength system posts, you can come up to my profile. No, but more seriously, there's a lot of exciting things that I'm reading about right now, which will translate into content coming out. I do post quite slowly, but it will come out. So content about making training more accessible right now, more so with seniors. That's what I'm most excited about, and that's where most of my content is going to be coming. And I manage 2 social media accounts. One is Chodi.Chira, that's my personal account, and I created an account for my grandmother. That's granny.trains. So
Tell us about your grandmother. Quick 60-second rundown.
okay, so my grandmother, for those who don't know, started lifting weights when she was 82, and she built so much confidence through lifting weights and becoming physically active that she was comfortable enough to get down to the floor, stand back up, and do her daily activities on her own. She was dependent earlier. And a year or 2 later, during COVID, she actually slipped in the bathroom just about 3-4 months back, and she fell down and fractured her back, and she's been on bed rest ever since. And this information is not fully public, but now I guess it is. But she's also recently been down with a lung infection that she's recovering from. So she actually is struggling to stand up on her own 2 legs right now. So from being world famous and seeing herself being so active to seeing herself struggling to stand up on her own 2 legs, it is very disheartening to her. But we are working on, we're working with the physiotherapist to get her back to being physically independent. It is a long path, but I've also gotten a lot of research papers to look at what we can do in a clinical hospital setting, and I have like 4 volumes of research papers to go through now. But I am confident that we can help her get back to being physically active, and that's what I'm working on right now. As I learn more and more about that area, I might also put out some content in that area. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, we hope she feels better soon, and we hope your learning helps many more people in similar situations.
I hope so too.
So if you dwell through existential crisis, that would be the best place for you to find me. So apart from that, I post regularly on Instagram. My ID is Muthu_MK8.
He's the guy who wears like the sweatshirt and looks like a professional coach. The rest of us are like participant with Naikutis and in various positions.
So the thing I've been posting about lately is topics related to pain. How can you self-manage pain? It started from like how can you understand pain better. So I've been posting about it, and I'm in the coming days I've been planning to post about the, as I said before, the minimal requirement for your physical activities. So that is something I've been planning to post in the coming days.
Okay, my Instagram handle is Prashanti_Ganesh. I mostly get angry on social media, but I'm trying to post more productive things. Yeah, so anybody has anything else to add? Are we done?
Yeah. What content are you interested in?
What content am I interested in? I don't know at this point. At this point, I'm in a place where I'm a little bit I've been continuously disillusioned with the fitness industry, but I think for very similar reasons that we've discussed in the last hour or so. And I think, like he said, I might have more concrete answers by the next podcast. But right now, I'm in a place of confusion and only talking about things that I'm absolutely certain about, which is very few things. So that's where I'm at. But then the few things we talk about, I think we do a pretty good job of. Do follow the Strength System Instagram account. We talk about many cool things there. And before we wrap up, quick shout out to our anonymous cameraman. You don't have to come because he's an anonymous. Is he still anonymous?
Yeah.
But okay,
they
so
know his face.
okay, you can show us your face, but coincidentally, Muscle Hypertrophy's page is also started on July 1st. So we share the same anniversary.
Yeah.
So you can do a quick hi. And then congratulations on the page. He's our anonymous, not anonymous anymore, he's our camera person and friend of Strength System. And yeah, like congratulations, I think it's very cool. I think he plays a big role in helping coaches like us handle misinformation slightly better. And that's something that is important for us. So you want to talk quickly about muscle hypertrophy? We've already done an podcast episode with him, we linked to it, but
எதை பற்றி மசில் ஹைப்பர்ட்ரோஃபி பற்றி சொல்லவா?
நீங்கள் அதை பற்றி தான் பேச முடியும்.
ஓகே, லைக் அது வாட் இஸ் இட் அப்படியா?
ஆரம்பிச்சு எவ்வளோ நாள் ஆச்சு?
புரியல. அதெல்லாம் ஒன்றும் வராது. ஓகே, ஸோ யா, மசில் ஹைப்பர்ட்ரோஃபி அந்த பேஜ் நான் ஹேண்டில் பண்ணிகிட்ருக்கேன். லைக் 2 years ஆக போகுது. ஸோ அது தட் வாஸ் ஜஸ்ட் டு பேட்டில் மிஸ்இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் அண்ட் கெட் பீப்புள் திங்க் பெட்டர். ஸோ தட் இஸ் வாட் த மோட்டிவ் ஆஸ் ஃபார் அஸ் நவ். ஸோ யா, போயிட்டுருக்கு. ஸோ பாட்காஸ்ட் பண்ணுவோம், அடுத்து இதில் போஸ்ட் பண்ணுவோம். ஸோ அதுதான் மெயினாக, தட் இஸ் த வே த்ரூ விச் வி கெட் இன் டச் வித் பீப்புள். யா.
What is the what mode of communication do you use? Can you talk about that? It's the most fun mode.
Yeah, அது வந்துட்டு லைக் காமெடி, லைக் மூவி டெம்ப்ளேட்ஸ் அண்ட் ஸோ சம்திங் அந்த மாதிரி தான். மீம்ஸ், மீம்ஸ்.
He basically makes kick-ass memes.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it's very cool that I think also in the last 2 years or so, this is the most number of friends in the fitness industry we've had. Usually Strength Systemனா ஒரு பபிளில் இருப்போம், நமக்குள்ளேயே பேசிப்போம். இப்போ தான் நம்மள ஒரு ஜிம்மாக மதிச்சு ஒரு கம்யூனிட்டி ஃபார்ம் ஆகிட்டு இருக்கு. ஸோ தேங்க்யூ ஃபார் பீயிங் அவர் ஃப்ரெண்ட். யூ ஆர் ஆல்சோ அவர் ஃப்ரெண்ட். ஓகே, பாய் எவ்ரிபடி. சே பாய்.
bye.